Hello, I'm making this video on how to pick up a stitch if you've already knitted past where you dropped it and need to work it back into the work. So, obviously you can frog a bunch of rows, but if, like earlier tonight with me, you end up with 50 rows earlier and you need to fix it, you probably want to just pick up the stitches. So I'll show you my kind of wacky little technique for doing that. I use a crochet hook. This is just a smallish one. Usually it's about the same gauge as the needle because that's about the size of the loop that you're going to be dealing with. And here's the stitch that I dropped. I'm just leaving it on my needle, and this is the path that it's going to take when it comes back up between these two stitches right here. So it's going to pop back up there. So in order to do this, I'm going to need to use my crochet hook and pick up this stitch first of all. So I'm gonna just pop that right in there, and now it's underneath both of these stitches. If you end up with just this one, that's fine, just stick it underneath. So then I pick up this needle that I have right here, just handy, sitting around, and I'm going to go underneath this stitch with my needle and pull it off and over. And it's very simple. The hook makes it so that having the hook there keeps it from sliding off, which is really handy. So this is where the stitches are going to have to go, up this ladder in between, which means I have to do 4 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go underneath that white stitch, hook it, and hook the orange stitch as soon as I get it, and pull it off and over, keeping the white one on the hook. I'm going to do the same thing all the way up, and every time I pull through I'm going to end up with a different color because I've used this nice bright colored yarn that makes it so you can see pretty easily where I'm at. So again, just picking up this stitch with the needle underneath and pulling it through. Now I'm on pink. Now I have 2 white stitches to do. So I'm going to go through, pick up the stitch, tug it a little bit to get some leeway, go underneath, and pull the stitch through. So I have 1 more to do, and I'll try to show you where that is. It is right there. So I'm going to go underneath it, pick it up, and it's going to be pretty tight because I've forgotten to do this for the last 4 rows. I've failed to pick up or to knit the stitch, so there isn't a lot of slack. Now, I've got all the stitches all the way up, as you can see. They look kind of out of whack because they aren't on the needle yet. I'm going to do that in just a second. So I'm going to take my other needle, which I have right here, and I will transfer the stitches over. I'm just going to pull those off. I need to migrate it down to the end, and again, it's going to be a little tight. And I'm dropping things because I'm not really able to see what I'm doing because I'm working on an iPad. Okay, so I'm going to slide these stitches off. And I get back to where the hook is. Now this is the best part, is because I used a crochet hook, it's just been chilling out there and I'm not going to lose it again. So I don't have to worry about that. So what I want to do is take my left hand needle, stick it up through the stitch, and drop the crochet hook out. So I can put that aside now, and then just pass these stitches back on to the needle. That'll be a lot easier without that tight stitch. So now when I go to spread it out again, you can see how these stitches are a little bit tight right here where I've made new stitches. In order to fix that, just take your spare needle and you want to just tug a little bit on this and pull a little from further down the line where you can get some slack, and you'll have to do this on each row. But honestly, I wouldn't bother unless it's a really, really fussy pattern, since it's just going to even itself out. Like if I just give it a few tugs and pulls, it usually evens out. Now I've got all of my stitches where they should be. Well, that's it, and there's my technique for picking up stitches if you have lost them in the pattern.